Hello friends, so this is Dhananjay. Now I want to give information about introduction to XML schema and XML DOM, that is document object model. So previous classes we observed like what is meant by XML DTD and how a DTD will work and how what are the limitations are there in a XML DTD and what is the main solution for a DTD and what's a practical example we observed, right? So now let's see what is meant by XML schema and what is meant by XML DOM. Okay. So these are the topics I want to discuss now: XML schema and XML namespaces and XML supported data types in XML schema, and example for XML schema and XML DOM. Okay. So let's start with a concept called XML schema. So what is meant by XML schema? So first of all, so which it defines a sublanguage of XML. So means like an XML schema, commonly known as XML schema definition. So formally describes so what a given XML document can contain in the same way that a database schema describes the data that can be contained in the database, like that is table structure or data types, constraints, etc. Okay. So the XML schema defines the shape or a structure or of an XML document. So along with the rules for the document data content and the semantics, so such as what fields an XML element can contain and which sub elements it can contain and how many items can be present, and it can also describe the type and the values, like a data type and the values that can be placed into each doc element or an attribute. So which it is a constraints or a called a facets and include a rule such as minimum and maximum lengths. So here for each and every XML schema document will be saved with the .xsd format. So and one of the best tool which it is there, it is an advanced graphical XML editor. So which it containing all tools like needs for designing, developing and testing an XML applications within W3C standards. So that is a Liquid Studio, which it is a graphical XML editor, and which it includes XML editor and XML schema editor and XML data mapper, XPath and query debugger and web service tools. So there are many more features are there for a Liquid Studio, which it is a graphical XML editor. You can able to design and develop an XML applications. Okay. So here the main XML schema, which it defines itself, allows the structure of an elements and the attributes to be defined. So along with any constraints on these elements and attributes, so we will see an element definition looks like how it will be there. Okay. See here we have to define like element and then we have to give a name and then type. So these are the two important attributes for an element. Okay. One is the name, what is the name of an element, then you have to specify there, and then type, what is the type, which type, that is the data type. So you have to specify a data type, and then we have to give a minimum occurrence and maximum occurrence. So min times allowed to occur, and then max times allowed to occur, like that. We will discuss in detail about min occurs and max occurs, like that. Okay. Here each element definition is within a schema like a XSD. So must have a name property, and which is a tag name which it will appear in the XML document, and the type property provides a description of what type of a data can be contained, so within an element. So when it appears in an XML document, so there are a number of predefined simple types such as XS : string and XS : integer and XS : boolean and XS : data. There are many more different simple data types are there, which it is predefinedly it is there. And then let's see elements of these, the simple data types are said to have a simple content model. So whereas the elements can contain other elements, so which it can be said as complex content models. There are three models. So first one is a simple content model, and another one is a complex content model, and another one is which it contains both mixing of both models. Okay. So if we have set the type property for an element in the XSD, then the corresponding value in the XML document must be in a correct format for its given type, otherwise this will cause validation error. So when a validation parser attempts to parse the data from the XML document, So you have to remember simple thing. So if you have to give type and name and then minimum occurrence, maximum occurrence properties for an element, and you have to refer single model or simple content model or complex content model. So based on these things you have to specify whether it is valid or invalid one. Okay, let's see XML schema, which it has complex type definition is to be following the form. So how a complex type will be specified. So let's have a look about that. Here you have to give a complex type, that is a name, type name, and then element definitions here, and complex type is ended. So I given two types, simple type and a complex type, right? Just now we are observing that is complex type. Okay, we have to specify name. And what about attribute definition? So this is an attribute definition, so which it has like the following form: attribute and then name of that attribute, name and type, and here attribute options. Okay, so examples of simple elements and their XML data are shown below. Now we will see simple schema definition, like XML schema definition, how it will look like, and what that XML schema, what is an output of that simple XML file. We'll see here itself. See here, XML schema, XS means XML schema colon element. You have to specify element name and element type. Now here customer date of birth, he taken like a name as customer date of birth, DOB means date of birth. So that means what it means here, he specified one type, data type as XS colon date. That means which is a data type called date of birth, like date. So you have to specify in XML like this format. Okay, he taken another one, that is customer address. So customer address is a data type of a string. So a type is XS colon string. Here he can able to specify 99 London Road, like that. This is XML part and this is XST schema definition. Okay, and what about integer value? If it refers ordered ID or salary or amount, like that, if you want to specify, you can use element name, like that. And body, which it considered as a string, so like this. Okay, you can specify, or without that no problem. So a type can be defined as a string but not have any content. This is not a true for all the data types. Remember, you have to specify. There are different data types which it is there. If you use like a DTD, document type definition, which it does not support any sort of data types like date, string, integer, like that. It only specifies string. But whereas if you use XML schema instead of DTD, you can able to specify multiple data types. Okay, let's see what is meant by specifying element cardinality. So what is meant by specifying an element cardinality means here, so it is possible to constrain the number of instances of an element, XML element, that appear in an XML document. So the cardinality is specified using the min occurs and max occurs attributes, and allows an element to be specified as a mandatory, or it is an optional, or can appear up to a set number of times. So the default value for min occurs and max occurs is 1. You have to remember that point. The default values for min occurs and maximum occurs is 1. So therefore, if both of the min occurs and max occurs attributes are absent, then as in all the previous examples like that, the element must appear only once and once only. Okay, you have to remember that. And if see here also I am not specify as min occurs and maximum occurs, but by default it takes that appear only once. So min occurs can be assigned any non-negative integer value. You have to remember, like example like 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. And max occurs can be assigned any non-negative integer value, or the special string constant that is unbound, meaning there is no maximum, so the element can occur an unlimited number of times. You have to remember, like here I specified like this. So XS colon element name equal to customer date of birth, and type is XS date. So if we do not specify min occurs or max occurs, then the default value of 1 is used, and this means there has to be like one and only one occurrence for of customer date of birth. It's mandatory. Okay. So and here you can have like another look, that is name, customer order, and type, XS colon integer, and min occurs and max occurs like unbounded. So if we set min occurs to 0, then the element is optional. Here a customer can have from 0 to unlimited number of customer orders. Okay, So like here you can have a third one, that is name, type, min occurs 2 and max occurs 10. Setting up both min occurs and maximums means the element customer hobbies must appear at twice, at least twice, but no more than 10 times. You have to remember that the point whatever I specified for a customer, I mean min occurs and max occurs. Okay, let's see that XML XSD, how it look like. So like XS colon element name equal to customer DB like XS date, and then here you can have like a name, customer order, and type integer, min occurs 0 and unbounded and 10. So like that, just now we observed, right? Let's see what in detail about XML schema. So widget is an XML based alternative to a DTD, and widget describes the structure of an XML document, and then will probably use it to most web applications as a replacement of for DTDs. Just now I given information about DTD, which doesn't support different data types, whereas in XML schema which it supports different data types for the data. Okay, and here mainly why the replacement for DTDs, because like XML schema are supported by W3C worldwide consortium, and which is richer and more useful than DTDs. And XML schema are written in XML, and which it supports different data types like integer, boolean, and string and date, like that, and or extensible to future additions, and it supports namespaces also. Okay, why use an XML schema? So with an XML, your XML files can carry a description of its own format, and with an XML schema the independent groups of people can agree on a standard for interchanging the data, and with an XML you can able to verify the data whatever it is there inside a memory, like that. Okay, let's see an XML DTD. First of all, let's see how a DTD will look like, and then we'll see how an XML schema will be able to apply for that XML. Okay, so here we can have like one XML program. You know already that the declaration part, and then this is called a parent element, and then this is called a child element. This is a way how to write an XML program. After that, if we want to add a DTD inside an XML, then internal DTD, it is referred as internal DTD. Okay, I think this information I already given in the previous videos. I am giving a difference between what the DTD and what an XML schema. Okay, here only we have to specify only string data type. There is no such type of different data types are there. So let's have a look about XML schema is an XML based alternative, that is to DTD, is that here we have to specify complex type. Okay, complex type. So sequence, we have to give a sequence, so it's which it is an order, like, so whatever the XML has the names, you have to call that. So like to, and then from, and heading, and body, you have to specify the type also, like element name and element type, right? These are the two attributes for an element, like name and type, and whatever the elements are there, that we have to specify in sequence. Okay, sequence is again, this is called a parent element, consider like that. So parent element of element is a child element, for the parent is sequence. What is another parent for a sequence? That is complex type. Either you can use simple type or a complex type. Here based on two things you have to specify that. So majorly what the industry peoples or industry web applications, or it uses complex type. Okay, which it doesn't have like a simple type. Okay, you have to specify like what is the main root element, that is name element, name equal to node is a root element. You have to remember, inside an element name you have to specify complex type, and then sequence, then you have to specify elements. And let's see what is means by each and every namespaces. Let's have a look about here. Before that, I want to tell you like each and every line about what XML access element name to, and then like that. Okay, which it defines element called note, which it called element called note here, and complex type, which it refers the note element is a complex type, the note element is a complex type, and then the complex type here, which it's for a sequence, the complex type is a sequence of elements. Complex type is a sequence of elements. and then what it means, like a element a name equal to 2 and from, like that. So the element 2 is a type of a string, and the element from is a from, like the same thing, like from is the type of string, like that, which it has the same formats. Okay, so let's have a look about XML a schema element. So schema element, here you can have like XML namespaces. Here you have to remember XML schema, which it has prefixed with xs, comes from the w3.org. You have to specify the namespace. This is a default one. You have to give these values for a namespace. This is a prefixed one. Okay, and for this you have to specify a target where it comes. So you have to specify target namespace also, and then you have to specify the XML namespace which it has a qualified or not qualified. Okay, which it is a valid one. So you have to specify all those things, then only the XML schema element will be valid. So what is meant by namespace? First of all, so since element names in XML are not predefined, and name conflict will occur when and in the same document one uses an element name with a different meaning. See, consider like two tables are there. Okay, two different tables. One table is here, and one row with two columns like apples and bananas. And again the table also same. Here also I am using table, here also I am using table. The thing is where the difference is. So where here the two different tables are there. I mean two different XML namespace provide a method like here. So which it has like the name conflict will occur when the same document one uses an element name with a different meaning. Here the element name is table, right? Here also, here one XML which it has one table name, root element is a table as a 1, and here also root element is table as 1. So both, if you compare with both the things, data is different, but the thing is the table as a root element is same, which it is a conflict, right? So for this, to overcome this conflict, then we can have one method called XML namespaces, which it provides a method to avoid element name conflicts. Okay, and using namespaces, so what you have to specify, instead of using like only prefixes, we have to add a XML namespace attribute here, like this. Here attribute by using like you have to specify XML namespace w3.org or like this, or if you want to use like furniture, the type of things you can able to use like this. Okay, so here whatever the attributes that are to a table that gives a prefix, a qualified name associated with the namespace, you have to remember that. Okay, and let's see XML namespace attribute. So we can have like so whatever just now I given information about that, the XML namespace attribute is placed in the start tag of an element and has the following syntax like here. So when a namespace is defined in a start tag of an element, all the child elements with the same prefix are associated with the same namespace. So the address used to identify the namespace is not used by the parser to look up information. So it gives the names of a unique name, right? So like this. So whatever the things that is given like the namespaces, you have to specify namespace before the starting of XML schema. Okay, and what's the default namespace here? The default namespace is this, like XML namespace w3.org 1999 and HTML. This is the default one, which it defines the default namespace for an element, which it saves us from using prefixes on all the child elements. Okay, you have to remember that default namespaces. And what like XML schema support different data types. Like one of the greatest strength of XML schema is that supports different data types, and it's easier to describe a document content, and it's easier to define restrictions on a data and validate the correctness of data, and which it converts between different data types like integer to string, string to integer, or boolean, like that, which it has. So let's see what are the different data types are there, which it has a predefined data types. So example like a string, integer, positive integer, negative integer, decimal, name and date, time, like time, whether whatever the specified data types are there, that is predefined, that is there inside a XML schema. Okay, let's have a look about what a simple type, like a simple type, and the XML schema. There are two types of data types in XML schema, that you can able to define XML schema elements in the following ways, like a simple type and the complex type. Simple type means it's used only in the context of the text. so context of the text. And some of the predefined symbol types are like xs colon integer and xs colon boolean and xs colon string and xs colon date. So those are all widget like a simple type. Okay, so widget is used only in the context of the text, and some of the predefined types are integer, boolean, string, date. Okay, and what about complex type here? Complex type means widget is a container for other element definitions, and this allows you to specify which child elements like an element can contain one, and to provide the things, so whatever the structure within the XML document. Okay, let's say here we can have like a simple type and complex type, right? Here I specify like an element like name as address, that is a root element now, and complex type which I specified as a sequences, which it has for address. You can have like name and then company and then phone number. Here phone number, the type is xs colon integer and string here. You have to remember what are the different types of data types are there like that. Okay, let's have a look about one like example program. I can have like this. So XML program I specified, you have to call these two namespaces. One is schema instance for that and XML namespace, and another one is schema location where the XSD file, that is XML schema definition file, is there. So this is purely XML program, that is called employee.xml. You have to create one XML program by using Notepad. That is, you have to display student information or employee information or company information or whatever the organization information you can able to define by your own tags like that. Okay, after that you have to design one XSD file, that is XML schema definition. Why you have to specify XML definition file? See here, if you are specifying different data types, if you want to get a different data type value, or if you want to specify different data types, then you have to use XML schema. Okay, here one XML schema definition file is there. You have to specify namespace for this one, and then you have to specify element from default value as a qualified. And now this is whatever I specified earlier. I given information about what element name and what is the complex type and what is the sequence and what is the element, what are the different attributes are there, I specified already, right? So whatever the XML names here, whatever the tags, first name, last name, email, the same thing you have to specify here, and the same root element name you have to specify here. So then only it will valid and it gives an output for your program. Okay, let's have a look with one XML DOM. Like what is meant by XML DOM? Like document object model, so which defines a standard way of accessing and manipulating the documents. Okay, so which it is a programming API for HTML and XML documents. So which it defines a logical structure of documents, and which it can be used with any programming language. What does like XML DOM? So XML DOM makes a tree structure view for an XML document, and we can able to access all the elements through an XML like a DOM tree, and we can able to modify or delete their content and also create a new element. That is the element, their content, the text or attributes are also known as nodes. Okay, here we can have like XML, for example, consider like this table taken from like a HTML document. HTML, here we have to first you have to a document object, what the DOM object will have. So it's a tree based structure. We have to remember that a table can have rows, that is we specify like tr and tr again, and tr again which it has like td, two tds are there, that is a and b, and then for another row which it has two tds again, c and d. Now this is called a DOM tree structure. So if you consider like a XML HTML part, we can have table started and ended, and then rows started and ended. We can have here two rows here from here to here one row, and from here to here another row. Two rows are there, four TDs are there. So this is called a DOM XML DOM structure. So you have to remember this structure. Okay, let's see one practical example like how to create XML file by using DOM. So how to create XML file by using DOM means here we can have like a new document. You have to specify version, like which it means XML version, which it is created by using a DOM structure. Okay, so you have to specify encoding format and the version here, and then by using the same variable whatever that is created, that is DOM, For that format output, we have to specify as true. If we set false, then it won't give any values and it won't enable the version for this XML. Okay, what is the main concept of this program? So here, if you execute this program, based on this, the XML program can be created with the name result.xml, and which it gives one correct order structure. Okay, let's have a look, but before that we'll see what is meant by the line by line explanation. So here one more variable, that is called root here. So in a root, where you have to create one root element, so you have to create in a like a DOM. In this variable you have to create element with a name called student. So that is called student is a root element, and then you have to append this student element, whatever they created one root element, you have to append with this. Okay, so DOM append child, that is append child for root. Okay, whatever you taken, you have to append with previous one. And you created another, we created another variable, that is called result. There we have to create another, okay, another element, like whatever the attributes if you are creating, then you have to append with previous one. So here create an element, another element, that is called result, and then with the same previous one, that is root, we have to append the child as result. Okay, remember the simple thing here. First variable is DOM, another variable is root, another variable is result. So whatever the root you are creating, that is appended to DOM to root, and then whatever the result, whatever the variable you created, so same thing you have to call with root with result. Okay, there is a difference. And then in a result we have to set an attribute, right? So whatever that ID for that result, you have to specify attribute, and for that result, whatever the result that is they created, which will append the child elements like name and SGPA and CGPA. So those three are called different tags for, and here it is a values. So it creates it act as this name, SGPA and CGPA, which tags as child elements for the result. Okay, and what is the root element? Student. Okay, and then finally we have to use one method called save XML. Save XML is a file method used to save the file. Here you can have like save, we have to pass the URL of a file like result.xml or die XML error. So let's see an execution part of this XML, creating XML file by using DOM. Okay, let's have a look with that. So I open Notepad and I already created this program, the same program. For this I am using PHP code, so I saved with the program name called create XML using DOM.php. Now I am executing this program. So just now I created already. So my program name is called create XML by using DOM. So when I am executing this program, so just now I created, right? So first element is root, then student, then result, then name, SGPA. Let's have a look with that. Okay, just now I created, right? So see here, first one is student. For student it created one element, and then for result it created a result as a parent element. For that parent we have to set an attribute as an ID equal to 1, like this. And again we have to append a child. If you want to add address or if you want to add phone number, then you can able to use one more thing. See here, if I am adding, I want to add like I want to add address. So how can I able to add? So directly you can able to pass the value, and instead of CGPA, you can place you can place address, and then instead of 8.4 you can place like TPT. Okay, save the program, and here refresh, address will be added here. So let's see, so whether the file is created or not. What is the name of a file? Result.xml. So whether the file is created or not, let's have a look. This is called a DOM structure, which it has a tree format, right? So let's have a look with that. Yes, so here we created one file. So when you execute the program, it creates result.xml, the same program. So this is called root element. Root has a parent parent elements are this, okay, which it has childs. Okay, I think this is clear with an XML DOM and XML schema. Thank you for watching.